The world of imperfects. We are in the world of imperfects, right? Obviously, we ourselves are imperfects. What do you say? But is there anyone else who's known to be Mr. Perfect? Mr. Perfect. No one, right? See, people, we all make mistakes, we fail, but the thing is that we try once again and we come up. Similarly, the society on which we exist also consists of issues and problems, but the truth is that the world does not leave us only with the problems. It has its own set of solutions in the form of innovation. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share my thoughts on the topic of I owe my innovation to my community. Everything in this world has limits. Even the sky has its own limit, but this word innovation does not seem to be. And this particular word has made us to travel beyond the sky. And that's the power of the word called innovation. Every innovation or discovery has its own set of stories behind it. Albert Einstein's E is equal to mc square formula has 10 years of story behind it. Well, Abdul Kalam's innovation consists of a story called Wings of Fire. Similarly, there was a story of a 2-year-old boy which inspired me. Obviously, first of all, what do you people think about the word called darkness? Darkness. Just imagine an absolute silence with the darkness. Would be somewhat terrifying, right? See, people, personally, I am scared of darkness, to be frank, to be open. But I know a 2-year-old boy who has been in the silence of darkness for about 5 days independently without any basic requirements of life. Seems to be crazy, right? Somewhat terrifying record, yes. People, you might consider this act as in stupidity to the core. We might ask, we might think this 2-year performed an stupid act, then what would be the result of this? It's just an expected one. We might think, we might ask, but what would if I say that we were also responsible for his death in one or the other way? Yes, we were. By now, most of you would have guessed who this 2-year-old was. If not, he is Sujit Wilson. Sujit Wilson, who has got trapped into the borewell for about 5 days in Tiruchi, in the village called Nadukatupatti in Tamil Nadu. It was about an 80 hours of rescue process, and finally we were unable to save him. And obviously this is not an first incident, and it's not going to be the last unless and until we find a solution for this. According to the NDRF, that is National Disaster Response Force, more than 40 children has got died into the borewells, and still we don't have a solution to this. But we have one thing in our hand. Do you know what is that? Hashtag RIPs. Yes, last time it was hashtag RIP Fatvir, and this time it's RIP Sujit, and next time it's going to be someone who gets affected. So do you people think that's the difference we can make? See, people, I accept that hashtags can create awareness, it can make us people to talk about the particular issue. Yes, I accept, but it can't be the solution, right? But personally, I believe an innovation would be a solution for this. An innovation, and here comes the word innovation. So, do you people agree? Yes. And an innovation, as the engineering colleges are the sources of the innovators and innovation, let us start this from the engineering colleges. According to the statistical data, there are 3,500 engineering colleges in India, and approximately 1 million students come out as engineering graduates every year. Well, if this is the case, we can expect minimum 10 lakh innovations, right? See, engineering is all about innovation. So if this is the case, we can expect minimum 10 lakh innovations, right? And if 10 lakh innovations are made every year, so do you people observe any kind of change around you through innovation? See, personally, I believe innovations are the ones which can bring the change. So if 10 lakh innovations are made every year, so do you people observe any kind of change around you through innovations? To be frank, to be open, not much more. See, people, I'm not here to convey, or I'm not here to blame that innovations are not made in engineering colleges. No. Innovations are made in engineering colleges, but they still remain as successful projects. See, the ultimate aim of an innovation is to put it on the hands of the society and to satisfy their needs, right? But in most of the cases, they remain only as successful projects. Well, let me share my own experience. I hope you people will not get bored. I'm sure I will complete it within a couple of minutes. Yes, it's guaranteed. Well, moving on. I'm an engineering student, and I was asked to submit a project during my first year. We as a team made a project, and we named it as Dignity to the Dead. Well, Dignity to the Dead. The main purpose and the theme of the project was that it's based on orphan dead bodies. It's based on orphan dead bodies. After the arrival of COVID-19, the number of orphan dead bodies has increased drastically, and there are some non-profit organizations, and what these non-profit organizations do is that they collect all these orphan dead bodies with great care and they dispose it with great respect. Well, the main concern over here is that most of us are not even aware about these organizations which indulge themselves for the welfare of the people. So what we thought is that let us frame a website which can create an awareness, regarding these organizations. So we framed a website in particular manner that the administration work of the organizations can also be taken care of by this particular website. We thought that let this be a contribution to these organizations from our side. At last it was a successful one. But as I already said, it remained only as a successful project. So here I owe my innovation to my community, but we people came up with a creative innovation, but we were unable to put it on the hands of the society and to satisfy their needs, and that's what the problem is all about. Coming on once again to the case of Sujit. After Sujit's accident, most of us has come forward to find a solution. Most of the educational institution and even school students. We found out a solution, but in this case too, it remained only as a successful project. Well, if it keep on continues like that, then what would be the solution? Well, there can be many, but one such solution could be innovation centers. We would be aware that central government allocates a separate part of funding for the purpose of innovation. Similarly, let the state government can also allocate a separate part of funding for this purpose of innovation. So to use this money wisely, we can establish innovation centers in each and every state and in each and every district around the nation. Why in each and every district these innovation centers must be established? Different parts of the state have different issues and different problems. For example, consider that I am coming from the north part of my state, means I would be aware about the particular issue which exists in the north part in depth, because I would have experienced it. Being affected and disturbed by that particular issue, I could come up with a creative solution, because I would have been experiencing it, right? So the ultimate aim of these innovation centers is to cultivate the innovators and creators and to employ them. Well, the second most ultimate aim is to convert all these successful projects into real-time innovations that could be accessed by the societies. That is, all the successful projects must be converted into real-time innovations. So by doing so, we could we could satisfy the employment hunger of the engineering society, which is predominantly dependent on the IT sector. By now, most of you would ask, is these innovation centers are that much important? Yes, it is, because if we are not doing so, we might miss the great minds of our nation. Creative ideas, creative solutions. See people, creativity is the mother of every innovation which we observe around us. Creativity is the mother of each and every innovation which we see around us. This world, right? It's not going to end with the four walls around us. It's not going to end with the four people around us, and obviously it's not going to end with what these four people said to us. It's something different. It's something unique. It's something creative, guys. Yes. So let us not walk on the path which others has created. We know what do we want. Let us be creative. Let us create our own path and let us walk on it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.